Greetings to the check-in. It's Monday, the 2nd of October. We're brought to you by the Freeze Pipe. Let me talk to you guys, all right? For the smoothest way to enjoy cannabis, you got to try a freezable piece from the Freeze Pipe. If you're tired of inhaling harsh smoke, having coughing attacks, and taking tiny little rips, then it's time for you to make a switch. You understand me? Listen, for years, I smoked a bong with snow in it when I lived in Colorado. Then I moved away. There was no more snow. And boom, the freeze pipe shows up equipped with a freezable glycerin chamber that cools smoke by over 300 degrees. You pop the chamber in the freezer for an hour. As the smoke passes through it, it instantly chilled for an ice cold puff without the afterburn, without the coughing. This bong, whatever you choose, will rock your world. For me, I put it in a little thing whenever I'm ready to smoke. I also keep it very clean. Don't mess around. Don't let it boil up or whatever. It'll the smoke comes out of there. Lee knows the smoke comes out of there, and then I blow the chamber out, and it looks like the 4th of July. Anyway, check out the newest pieces: the mini bong, dun 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 dun, the tornado bong, and their glycerin blunt tip to cool down joints, blunts, and vapes. No matter how you like to smoke, Freeze Pipe will make it ice cold. So do me a favor. This company is American owned for over 7 years and affordably priced. Shop the smoothest pipe, bubblers, bongs, and more at thefreezepipe.com. Use code Diaz, DIAZ, for 10% off your entire order. That's thefreezepipe.com, code Diaz, for 10% off your entire order. And let me talk to you about something, people. Order now for the holidays. Everybody's happy. Your grandma wants to eat turkey. Grandma wants to smoke a bong on Thanksgiving. She's at home watching soap operas in her little fucking half a coffin you made her. Bring her the freeze pipe and flip her fucking wig. No more bingo. Get her out of the goddamn house. This message is brought to you by thefreezepipe.com. Don't forget, Diaz, D-I-A-Z, for 10% off your entire order. Let's get this party started. It's Monday morning, baby.
Turn off your TVs, run for your lives. It's over. They didn't put you on this planet just to give up. If Uncle Joey could do it, I could rule the world. That's what you got to be thinking.
Welcome back to Syatt!
Hello.
What's up? Hello. I can hear you.
What's up, dog? It's beautiful Monday morning.
It's good to see you, buddy.
Whatever it is. October, the rent's due.
It is.
It's unbelievable how fast this is going. I can't believe it myself some days, but who gives a fuck? What's happened to my little brother? I was Omaha, Nebraska.
Dude, it was one of the best weekends of like my comedy career in quotes now, but it was as good as advertised. It was like even better. Like it was just
4 shows, correct?
5 shows.
5 shows. Look at you.
5 shows. Every show was really good. All the shows were packed. The club was awesome. The crowds were awesome. The staff, and like I've heard about Colleen, who was amazing and like super nice, but like even the staff was hysterical. Like there was, I'm not gonna out anybody, but there was someone there who was very nice the entire time, like just very quiet and very unassuming. And at like one of the last nights, they came in and said, "If you guys want to party," and he throws this bag of homemade cookies on the table and says, "These will knock your dick in the dirt." And it was one of the funny, like we were on mushrooms. It was one of the funniest moments in the whole weekend, and there were strong cookies. They were really fucking good. Huh?
Did you bring any home?
No, we ate them.
Oh, hey, you ate them. All right. So you mixed and matched on Saturday night.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was but it was so fun. It was just a great weekend.
How were your sets?
4 out of 5 were really good. The 5th one, it wasn't bad, but I stumbled over my words a couple times, and I was unhappy about it, but like, Saturday night, w it was one of the the better weekends I've had.
Let's talk about Saturday nights real quick. Uh, it's fucking crazy, Lee. The first 7 years, you will come home every Saturday night scratching your fucking head because you did great Thursday. Then you did great when you went to Uncle Floyd's piano fucking bar and you did karaoke and you did 10 minutes of material. And Friday, you went back to the club and you did another 2 shows and you did really well. You even added some material for the late show. And then Saturday, you eat a bag of dick on Saturday evening early, and then you fucking die an even worse death on Saturday night. And you're like, what's going on with Saturdays? This will happen for about 9 months. And then you'll get out of that block that you've put in front of yourself and you'll start doing well, either or.
What do you mean either or?
Either or. You'll either do great the first show or great the second show. And
Yeah.
then something funny will happen on the way to the dance, like it usually does with stand-up. You'll start, because where you came from and where people you were around early on and what you heard in that fucking room, you'll start saying, you know what, I don't even like, I won't even fuck with the early show on Saturday. The early show on Saturday and people coming in, they're confused. I'm going up second. They're still coming in. They're sitting down. They don't know what they want to drink. There's a guy with 3 eyes sitting one next to him, and he doesn't want to sit next to them. The waitress comes over. There's so much movement going on. Early game Saturday. So as a feature act, you come out and they're still unsettled. We don't notice that at the time, but this is what's going on. That's why I don't like these 7 o'clock shows, because people got to cut motherfuckers off like a Chinese dude to fucking get to the fucking comedy show. You know, who needs that shit? Who needs that shit? So I always liked 8 and 10 or 8 and 9:45. The early show, it's people who have children. They got a babysitter. Maybe they're a little, maybe they fucked with a sheet with a little hole in it. They don't eat ass, Who knows? They're the people who go to church. You come out there with a fucking off-color joke, 4 minutes in, that's going to be the longest 26 minutes of your fucking life after that. You'll remember that forever. You'll remember that at so many moments of your life. I still do. But then you start figuring out that the Saturday show, they're drunk. They've been sitting in the lobby drinking. It's a college town. They were watching their game. There's so many fucking variables to a comedy set. And what happens on a Saturday fucking night, guy? There's a UFC. You bet fucking Dustin Poirier and he gets kicked in the head. You lost $100,000. It's 1,000 dilemmas. So, and when I started, there wasn't social media. So
right.
You do one of those sets and like, not comedy clubs, but it's like comedy companies, and they have comedy rooms for the weekend, and every once in a while they'll throw you a Friday and Saturday. You're going to die. You're going to die, but they put you up. It's 3 days off your schedule. You don't have to worry about. After the death, you'll never even go there again. When people talk about that city, you'll go, look at. I don't
You
ever
read off the entire city?
Yeah, like you're done. I don't need to go there. Tell people the truth. Last time I went there, I got robbed. You won't tell people the truth for about a year. And then one day you go, dog, I ate a bag of dicks. What is wrong with me? Now I got to get back in there. And now the guy remembers you bombing. So now he doesn't really want to bring you back. And then after about a year and a half, Jimmy Schubert calls you. And he says, I need a feature next weekend. And there you are again. And this time you destroy the room. And whatever happened 4 years earlier is forgotten.
That is a bummer when you do bad at like a show and you feel like a booker doesn't like you now. How do you get past that?
Think about it. You're a Boston Red Sox fan, correct?
Of course.
When they pay $10 million for a season and this guy shows up and he throws fuck and he strikes out all the time. It's pretty rough after that season. And then, but there's so many variables. You can't write a motherfucker off. Yeah, maybe he's a bust out. We all can't be fucking, Shoshani Otani, whatever his goddamn name is. Shoni
It's definitely
Ohtani.
not Shoshani.
Guy's great.
Shohei.
If we were all Shoni Otanis, it wouldn't be fair.
Right.
So that's how I feel about that stuff. So never trip on your sets because it used to destroy me. Like I used to do those triple runs and fucking he'd put you back there in 6 months and you just got over that beating because you were leaving on a Tuesday night and you had to pick up the fax when you got to the hotel. Sometimes he'd say to you, Lee, you're going to go to Omaha, Nebraska Wednesday night. And then from there, you're going to go to Ogallala, Nebraska. And then from there, you're going to go wherever the University of Nebraska is. And you're going to go, okay. He goes, just for right now, get to the hotel in the first place I said, Omaha, Nebraska. It's a Holiday Inn. You're working with the guy, Joey Diaz. Watch him. Watch him. Do not lend him money. Do not do drugs and avoid him. And we'll send the fax of the remaining rooms to you to the hotel where you're staying at.
Wow. That's
So
way before.
Yeah. So you jump in your car, you put on the 7 hours, you get there. There's 4 sheets of where you're going every night, radio, the hotel you're staying at, who you're checking in with. You go upstairs to your room. You look at the one for that night. You review it. It tells you, blah, 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 blah. You look at the one for the next night because you want to see what time you got to leave the next morning. You can't be snorting coke and doing karaoke with waitresses if you got to get up at fucking 4 in the morning and drive. Like sometimes when I saw that, I would pack my fucking bags, go do the comedy show, and just get in the car afterward. Because
You're not going to sleep anyways.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to sleep. So I would pick up 5-6 hours on the road, take a 2-hour nap, drive another 2 or 3 hours, get to the hotel at lunchtime, and sleep all day. Get up for an hour, write some jokes. But there was also always a line in there that said, by the way, when you get to this room, you're not allowed to say any curse words. It's a Mormon room.
Fuck.
So for a guy like me saying that at the 4-year level, I can't cover that spread. I got to throw in a couple fucks in there. You know what I'm saying?
Did you ever get fired?
Yes.
What is that? That sounds crazy to me.
It's not as crazy as you might think. I got fired. I'm a trifecta type of motherfucker. I got fired from Comedy Club. I got fired from a TV show set one time. I had to leave with security.
Oh, holy shit.
And then that was it. That was it.
Which one do you want to tell first?
I can't tell the Comedy Club one because I don't remember what club it was. It was like, it had to be 95.
How bad do you have to bomb to get fired? Like,
no, we didn't bomb and got fired. We did a room, myself and another comic, who this comic was great. I was already at the Comedy Store. And fucking this guy, we co-headlined a comedy club in West Virginia. It was a week of one-nighters. This guy was burying me, Lee.
Was he featuring for you?
Huh?
Was he featuring for you?
No. We were co-headlining.
Co-headlining, sorry.
He was just burying my fucking ass, And we got along. He was a great guy. But my homie was the real deal Holyfield when it came to women. I would go to my hotel room and I'd get a call from his wife. Do you know where he is? I've been calling this room 80 times. And I'm like, I'm trying to snort coke and whack off to whatever movie there is on this hotel. Calling me from that owns the hotel. Now you call, I swear to God, every fucking night, my phone would ring at one time of the night from his wife.
Jesus.
Asking, so he was just a player. Then like Friday night, he caused some damage and the wife was involved. She showed up and he had his other of many women there, and we both got fired. I woke up that Saturday morning, and they said, you got to go. And it's funny you mentioned that because I was thinking about that motherfucker this week.
The guy who you were with?
Where he would have been right now today. He would have been one of the top comics.
What do you think held him back?
Eating fucking pussy. How's about that for you? How was your week beside that, Tarzan?
My week was pretty great. My week was honestly just focused on Omaha, to be honest.
That's what happens. You put everything into it. You look at your tapes. You listen to tapes. You put your P's and Q's, and you move the fuck on. We had a good week. Finally, the writer's strike is over. I'm very happy
good for you.
That. Huh?
Why are you happy about that?
Because hopefully I can do something with the book Tremendous.
Oh, perfect. Okay. That's awesome.
I can option it, so with some luck, hopefully we could option it and start some talks for a TV show or a series, whatever the fuck they want to do.
That's fucking awesome.
The actors aren't going to go back for a few weeks. So that'll give the writers some time to write their fucking new stuff. I hope they don't come back with, Galaxy of the Guardians, whatever that shit is. And I got to put up with those things. I watch them with my daughter. I don't know how they do it. They shoot those movies like in 3 weeks.
You think so?
I don't know. But nothing is real. You just stand there. Next thing you know, you're in Galacticaville. You fight a little fucking chubby Mexican dude in fucking Mars. The next thing you know, you fight, the illusions, whatever the fuck, the makeup. I don't know. This is why I enjoy those movies with her.
Right.
I see her get a tickle out of them. But I also try to mingle other shit in there so she knows reality. The other night I had her watching The French Connection.
It's a great movie.
She didn't dig it.
That's like a 60s movie.
What's that?
Isn't that like a 60s movie? 70s?
70s movie. Early fucking 70s. Pretty good movie. High intensity. As a matter of fact, the guy who directed The Exorcist. Rest his soul. Whatever. Freaking that fucking freak. But he's somewhere better now. Anyway. The writer's strike went back. I had some meetings this week that were fucking pretty good, I feel a lot better. My family's great. I just left a doubleheader.
Oh, shit. For basketball or softball?
No, it's softball season, cocksucker. She has 2 games tonight. So I went to the first game.
That's awesome.
I don't know if they won or lost. There was a lot of hits and a lot of walks. She was in they were playing Staten Island. They were a little better of a team. They were more coached a lot better. But I got to watch the first game. I got to watch the warm-up. There was a DJ there today.
Does she like that you're there now?
Yes. Listen, I like to be there. When I'm there, there's no other place I'd rather be. I'm watching them play softball, which I never thought I'd watch. I may have some edibles in me mixing. I got the off to keep the flies away, and I'm catching flies at the same time. I'm having a great time. I'm blowing the whistle whenever Mercy's pitching to get her to focus, so she knows I'm in the thing. That's how we talk secretly. You follow what I'm saying? I learned that from the Houston Astros.
You got signals?
They were banging the garbage bags over in Chicago.
Yeah.
Stealing signs. You got to do little things. I'm not stealing signs, but I try to focus her. Like if she throws too high, whatever. But who gives a fuck? Half the people who watch it don't want to hear about my fucking daughter who's a fuck. I don't know.
I think they do. But
I took her to the movies the other night.
What did you see?
My friends had a big dinner at La Forte in Hackensack. It's a new restaurant my buddy opened up. Fucking tremendous food. And me and a bunch of guys from high school were going to go. But then like Wednesday, my daughter throws a bomb on me. I told my wife, listen, tomorrow I'm going to meet these guys. She goes, wait a second. And Mercy was like pale. She goes, you didn't remember? We're going to see Dumb Money. And I'm like, okay. I felt bad. She goes, it's at 7:00. So I said, perfect. I'll take you to MMA. We'll come home. We'll shower. And then I'll shoot you over to King's Chinese restaurant where I took the menu picture.
Yeah, perfect.
She got the steak on a stick. I went light. I got the shrimp and garlic with the white rice. Kept it really light. We got out of there. I can't
believe you didn't get the dumplings.
What's that?
I can't believe you didn't get the dumplings.
Dog, I got to watch shit. And I tell you what, when I have those meals that are rich now, I'm done. I'm done. It's over. I'm a different Billy Goat. You know what I'm saying? I don't, I can still eat snots and shit, but I got to watch my meals. You follow what I'm
Oh,
saying?
are you still eating your snots?
From time to time.
Oh,
Not as much because I don't produce as much. I'm not snorting coke. I still got the little nest that comes out over here, and I wiggle it every once in a while. And sometimes you get a good one, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you get a little speck, you throw it up in the air, but sometimes you rip out like a little vein, like a 6-incher, and you play with it for a little while, and you just inhale it like a fucking oyster. You know what I'm saying? Speak,
holy shit!
you toothless one.
Oh my god, Jesus Christ, Joey!
What do you want?
Where you told me
This is the
what
fucking check-in, Lee. This is not about, this is us talking shit. Whatever they want to do, they got to do. We ain't
didn't you
saying
tell?
no lies. We ain't
Didn't you
talking
tell
about
me?
a lot. What's that?
Was it last week you told me you eat gum still?
Yeah. What happened? Let me tell you something. Let's talk about last week for starters, just to get this party started. Listen, hold on one second. How about a word from my sponsor? This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Sometimes you're lacking the motivation to do things you should do and you self-sabotage yourself. Let's talk about this. Therapy can help you figure out what's holding you back so you can stop working against yourself. BetterHelp's online therapy is incredible, but you can talk to a licensed therapist through video, chat, or by phone, or even by message. Getting the help you need has never been easier. When I moved, I had some struggles. I was stuck. I contacted BetterHelp. Here I am 3 years later throwing heat. Take a quick quiz to get matched with a licensed therapist. If you ever need to switch therapists for any reason, you can change at any time for no additional charge, no questions asked. So do me a favor. The holidays are coming. You want to have a clear head. Make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Diaz, Diaz, and I'm going to get you 10% off your first month. It's going to help you out. If it helped me, and you know I got problems, it'll help you. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Diaz. BetterHelp.com/Diaz. And now we're going back to talk some more, whatever the hell we were talking about. All right, so don't forget, visit BetterHelp, get your act together, focus before the holidays. You want your parents to invite you back to the house for dinner. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, what were we talking about? We're talking about last Monday. Last Monday, you and I decided to do the edibles a lot earlier,
Mm-hmm.
correct?
Yes.
Well, I did the same thing I did last Monday. I did not respect, I didn't know what my tolerance was. And I think I opened up with maybe 3 of them, right? I blasted those at like 5. And then during the podcast, I must have been popping them, or like at 7, I popped like 2 more. Let me tell you something, my friend. When I wrapped up, I already knew I had to do that Fox show
Yeah.
to Jesse Walters, whatever his name is. So, they just called at fucking 5:30 and wanted me to drive into the city. I'm very grateful they thought about me. Thank God it was a subject that I kind of knew about. They tried to go a little political on Uncle Joey, and that's where I tapped out. But there was more to the story, see, because I'm sitting here with you, and they're texting me, telling me they're outside.
Oh, damn.
So already I ended the podcast with you. I basically got up, drank some water, and went outside right into this little fucking CIA van. As I'm going in there, I'm like, what am I doing? I got to go inside and get a gun or something because where am I? These guys might be Cubans. They might be taking me to the fucking airport. Those were the edibles that were hitting me, dog. Trust me. And I
You were
got there.
getting paranoid?
What?
You were getting paranoid?
Something was going on. Like my mind was just racing. So I got into the fucking van. There was one sweet kid, shook my hand. What's going on? I sat down. And as I'm sitting there in the van like this, remember, it's a fucking van, Lee. I got a room in here. Okay? This is a fucking van. I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden the edibles start percolating to the point where I had to tilt my head back so I could see. The eyeballs would, I was hearing fucking Spanish people. I was hearing Afro-Cuban music. It was on. And now they made me put the earphones on, and I'm sitting there like a mook. They told me to run out, and now they got me in there. And they're like, "You're probably going to go on about 9 o'clock." I go, "Listen, I ain't going to make it till 9 o'clock. I ate 1,000 edibles." And that dude's face froze. He's like, "Okay, we'll get you out of here in about 6 minutes after the commercial break." By the time they hit me with the fucking camera and the question, I was in fucking Gagaville. I blacked out that night. I blacked out on fucking edibles. Yeah, I blacked out. I don't know what happened.
On TV or later?
No, not on TV. Later, like 2 hours later, the edibles met up with the fucking mushroom. And shit got deep. So all I remember is going to bed and waking up and my wife telling me a bunch of things. "You don't remember being downstairs and talking about this movie for like 20 minutes?" I go, "I don't remember dick."
Jesus.
I went deep in the murky waters.
How often do you black out?
Come on, bro. I haven't blacked out in 20 fucking years. When I was eating Quaaludes.
I black.
That was even 40 years ago. Why, who blacks the fuck out on those edibles and shit? But maybe, I don't know, I was doing bong hits. It was a rough week. Who the fuck knows? The next day I got up and I went right to the red light therapy and I sweat that mofongo juice out. I love sweating in there for 34 minutes. And then I walk out, I sit in the air conditioner, I dry up, I put my clothes on. Then I open up that door and I smell in there. Oh.
The red light therapy?
Yeah, with the heat, it's 154 degrees in there for 34 minutes. I take a 30-second break. I step out and drink some fucking liquid IV with some fucking cholesterol in that motherfucker, which is tit protein. When you're born, it gives you extra strength. Anyway, we're not getting into that right now. I'm not a fucking doctor. I'm just a player. You know what I'm saying?
And what did that smell like?
What's that?
You said the smell of the red light therapy.
Oh, when I come out, it's not the red light therapy. It's the water that comes out of me, Lee.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it smells like straight up ABX capsules, fucking eggs, and Freddy's fucking pork fried rice.
Damn.
It's a fucking beautiful thing.
You're not high anymore? Like, you're not high the next day?
When I wake up?
Yeah. Well, after the red light therapy.
1 cup of coffee, sweat it all out. I try to move around. I go to the gym. I went back to jiu-jitsu last week. I was fucking ecstatic about that. I finally got to go in there and see the fucking guys and make it happen. That's it.
Awesome. How'd it go?
It went great.
That's really cool.
I'm gonna hit this week twice. I'm gonna try to hit this week twice. I got to do a couple things. I went up to my neighborhood the other day. It's been raining here for a fucking week and a half straight. Every day is like land of confusion. You don't know when you're gonna get the call about the canceled softball practice, the canceled game. So we were just playing. We try to get her to MMA. We try to get her, involved in shit, but it's been brutal. So Saturday, I fucking said, "Fuck this" early. I filled up my car and I went up north.
What did you do up there?
I went up what do you think I went up there? I went over and took pictures of the George Washington Bridge because I'm a photographer. I went to fucking Rudy's, my friend.
Oh, should you get the calamari?
Huh?
You get the calamari?
Yeah, half order with shrimp and calamari. I had the salad, the house salad, the full order.
Nice.
And a nice cup of Rhode Island fucking seafood chowder.
Jesus.
Then I drove down Bergen Line Avenue, my old little haunts. I drove down into North Bergen to visit my friend's ex-wife. She's a very sweet lady. I called her. She didn't answer, so I didn't think she was home. I went over to Bergen Line Avenue to see my buddy who owns a jewelry store. And that's impossible. You're not going to get parking anywhere. That's just impossible. I mean, I was at a light. It changed 8 fucking times.
Oh, that kills me.
By that time, I was like, I got to go. I don't have to just pay. I gave it a New York try. I should have gone up like how my plan was to go up on a Tuesday, go up on a Thursday. Tuesday's even better if I get up there. and get it out of the way. I can leave here at 9:30, get up there at 10:30, find parking, go see him, swing over, pick up a couple Cuban sandwiches, some bakery products, and fucking make a U-turn south. You won't even know I was there. The only people who know I'm there is the Easy Pass. Bing, bing.
It was too
Motherfucker doing 90. You know what I'm saying?
It was too busy on a Saturday.
It's too much. All those Spanish people out getting the best deals. They need the avocados and God knows what else, you know?
But speaking of that rain in New York, did you see the flooding that's going on in New York? In like the subway and shit?
Listen, guys, this was everywhere. This was, I don't know. I don't know what happened last week. I don't know if we're getting the message. I don't know if this has become Seattle, New Jersey. I don't know, but hold on one second. So I went to Union City, and then from there I said, you know what, fuck it, it's time to go home. I got back on Kennedy Boulevard, and dog, you couldn't make a left, a right onto Bergen Line. Till I got down to like the fucking 39th Street, and I knew that area. So I finally made it right there, and I crossed Kennedy Boulevard. I shot down to Bergen Turnpike there. I drove past my mother's cemetery. Dog, they haven't mowed the lawn in about fucking a month in that motherfucker. Or it rained so much that the grass grew that much. But there were two spots where somebody hit the fucking fence with a car and it's still bent over. Like you could just walk up the fence and jump the fuck. And then I went down to my own neighborhood and it's like they just sucked the fucking energy out of there. Like,
how'd they do that?
I don't know. First off, it looks like it's a war zone. My corner, my ex-corner there, where I would hang out and grow up on Given that Terrace, there's two houses on the corner. As you drive by, you go, what the fuck is that? There's like shit growing on the buildings. I don't know. It's weird when you go to where you grew up and you expect to see something. But the park is very nice. They did a great job with the park, but they built everywhere. The woods where we grew up, that was our little camping territory, but nobody had a tent. You know what I'm saying? We just went up there and did all the shit you're not supposed to do at home. People would drop Playboys up there. You'd see old condoms and you pick them up with a stick and you talk somebody to sniff. You gave somebody a small $2 and a fucking bottle of Budweiser, a nip. Don't do anything.
And they tore it all down?
No, it's all fucking developed up there.
Right.
A building of them on front of the buildings, they built some other shit. And you're like, I used to walk through there to cut up the ShopRite. I would walk up through there and there'd be 10 kids walking through there because their mother sent them to fucking ShopRite. So we'd cut behind the fucking pool hall and then walk up the ShopRite there.
Is it depressing that they change it?
Oh, that ShopRite where I used to go as a kid,
Yeah.
they could turn that into a haunted place. It's still there. I went to ShopRite about a mile from my house. It's a 2023 ShopRite. Holy shit. Lights, fucking self-checkout if you have a card, self-checkout if you have cash, self-checkout if you're on welfare. Whatever the fuck you're showing up with, they're taking it from you. You know what I'm saying? They don't give a fuck.
They have a special line just for welfare?
What's that?
They have a special line just for people in welfare?
Well, they'll take international money. They don't give a fuck. They cash it right there. A little Arab comes out with a suitcase with a handcuff around his wrist, and they open it right there. What do you got? Money from Belgium, Honduras. You got it. We take it. We take an extra 2-point VIG because we're right here in the middle of the supermarket, and we're not going to ask you for an ID.
Thank God.
Because obviously you're going to spend the money in our fucking supermarket. I don't know. I'm just making this shit up. I don't know what they do anymore, but it was very nice compared to what I expected to walk in there to see. It was fucking beautiful. Clean as fuck. People everywhere. Helping you. Can I help you? Can I help you? Very high level.
How does it make you feel to see the changes?
It makes me feel are you fucking crazy? I don't know how I feel. As long as they get me out of there as fast as possible.
No, not at ShopRite in North Bergen.
Well, it makes me feel emotional. You know, discussing with my therapist. And maybe
you were attached to that ShopRite.
It's fucking crazy. It makes me feel like time has moved on. It's over. That was then, this is now. All I got to worry about is fucking what's in my circle. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of which, we're coming out a little early with you. So I took a fucking bet today. Not
Oh
a
yeah,
bet.
you didn't.
It was $50. You know, when I say a bet, you know me. And I knew my shit was off. I took Miami because I was going to Florentines out of respect. They were getting 2.5. That line was whack. If you bet Miami today, you're whack. I just threw the small 25 just to watch the game. And I had Cleveland against fucking
Baltimore.
Baltimore. I thought Deshaun Wilson was going to fucking throw 20 touchdowns. Obviously, he hurt his shoulder, you know, trying to do a reach around the little Chinese masseuse. You know, that dude. You know, he's trying to attack her. There's a masseuse with a story in Cleveland from last night. Anyway, let's drop a little DraftKings love on you motherfuckers. We'll be right back. Give us a minute. Hit it. We're back. Listen, how many times I got to bother you people? The NFL season is going strong. DraftKings Sportsbook is hooking new customers up right now with an offer that's too good to be true. I know you heard it, but now you're going to hear it from Uncle Joey. Bet $5 on any game this week to score 200 instantly in bonus bets. All customers can take advantage of the sweetener offer every game day this October. You guys know me, dog. I just told you I lost this weekend. What the hell? I lost Sunday. But I had a great time. I had some action this weekend. I went over to a party. Listen, it's the DraftKings is the best way to make the big game even more exciting. Who's better than you guys? Get it on the game day greatness. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code Joey, Joey. New customers, stop it. You can score 200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet just $5 on the NFL. Period. That's code Joey, Joey, only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours tonight. What's happening tonight? You got a great game. I think the Giants are playing somebody. I don't know who the line is, but who cares? Download the DraftKings app right now, and let's get Monday started. Next week is Columbus Day, and you want a little Gitas in your pocket. At least you'll have some bonus bets if nobody invites you to a Columbus Day party or whatever the hell it is. Anyway, thank you for listening. We're back all day. You're expecting phone calls. You know who called? Nobody. Start a podcast. Everybody wants to be your fucking friend. Get the fuck out of here. You know, yesterday I called 3 people for something. They all called like 8 hours later. Nobody, I didn't pick it up for nobody. Like, I don't even know what I called you for anymore. My sister keeps calling. What'd you call me for? I don't know. Call me on Tuesday. Maybe I'll remember by then. I'm getting old. I don't need this shit. Either pick up the fucking phone or call me tomorrow because by that time I'll get my head together. You know what I'm saying?
I love
It's
it.
going goodly. I got no complaints. You know, what do you want me to fucking do? I'm doing the best I can. I love doing this with you. This is the best I can do for right now. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
having a blast, dude.
Yeah, this is all you need to do. Hopefully you come down and we'll set up a little live show somewhere.
Oh, I would love that.
Go deep, give away some fucking Malukia sticks. And we'll
I've
get
been liking I've been liking doing the like the mushroom late shows with Josh. Like those are it's been like I was scared of him when we were doing the church. Like I was like genuinely scared of doing mushrooms.
By the way, for the people who are concerned about my first of all, I found out online. I found out from one of the listeners that I had a yeast infection in my ear.
Oh shit.
I went to CVS and I bought that little yeast medicine. I take a little Q-tip and I put it in there. You know what? My ears are a little bit moisturized more, but they still smell like donkey fucking dick. Every once in a while, that juice that comes out of there is the worst, Lee. I am so embarrassed about it, but I addressed the issue, so thank you very much. You know what I'm saying? As you can tell, I'm looking very fucking, I don't know. Anyway, what were we saying, Tarzan?
I was just talking about doing mushrooms.
Listen, Lee, I'm a big fan of what you're doing. I fucking admire the ball sack on you. It's so fucking funny, like, point blank, I got into comedy after I read that fucking book by that fucking knucklehead Jewish junkie, whatever his name is. At the time I was out of prison and it fucking just sold me on what I thought I wanted to do. I knew I was a dead and goner, and I said, fuck it. What's the guy I'm talking about? Live from Carnegie Hall, the album I have?
Lenny Bruce?
Lenny Bruce. So, listen, when I got into comedy, I remember I got into comedy in June, all right? And I kept getting froggier and froggier. I would smoke dope and then I would stop. I would like, how can I? During the contest, I didn't do any drugs. Any drugs. I took that contest very fucking seriously. I had ruined everything in my life. I'm not fucking going to keep ruining it. I would go in there sober as a judge, and after whatever happened, I'd have a few fucking margaritas. I'd get a package, and I'd do what I have to do. I'm not going to fucking tell you I was a saint here. But I started experimenting. Like after 3 or 4 months, we started taking chances. And the biggest, worst thing I ever did was 8 months in trying to do blow.
On stage?
Yeah, and I was the first guy to go up. And I remember that I always struggled at other shows when I went up first. And knowing that, I said, you know what? I'm not going to wear a suit. That's the other decision I made that night. I'm not going to wear a suit no more. It's not getting me nowhere. The only thing I'm doing is dropping 12 a week on dry cleaning, and I spill it and it smells like dick and there's cocaine in the pockets. Why am I wearing a fucking suit for every week? That was the first week. I have fucking dressed like a shirt, pair of jeans, sneakers, and I got a package for the headliner, and he gave me like $250, and I did like 2 fucking lines, and I went and got on stage. That was not a fucking good situation for me that night.
What did it feel like?
It felt really fucking bad, guys. It did not feel good on stage. I knew I didn't have any control, and I never tried it again. That's how bad I felt on stage. Like all my life, I've been doing this dumb shit, and now I'm going to bring it into my comedy. Shame on you. So St. Patty's Day, 92, never again on stage. Then I started fucking around after the 10-year mark, doing it the night before a show. And if you don't think it hurt me, my performance, like if I got high on a Thursday night, if you want me to sit here and tell you it didn't hurt my performance on a Friday, shame on me. But that's a complete different thing. I know you don't drink alcohol. You're very focused on what's going on. And I'm very surprised that you're doing mushrooms, and I'll tell you why. I would have gave you mushrooms 3 years ago. And there's a certain reason with you. You're Jewish and you're neurotic. And I always told you, and I was kidding Josh when we did the Zoom call last night. I wasn't affecting you in no way. I always saw you as a Woody Allen type writer without, marrying some Chinese kid. I always saw you in that realm. I really did. Once you started doing comedy, I was very shocked what I saw came up. I know that every once in a while you want to work R-rated or whatever, but you were always very tight. And we'll go back to, tonight I blew a whistle at my daughter's game.
Right.
When she was on pitching, and then I blew another one before she was batting. In between a doubleheader, she goes, Dad, do me a favor. Don't fucking distract me with the whistle. What are you going to do if you keep doing this once you go to play in Newark? What do you think those girls are going to be doing? They're going to be throwing chairs at you. And you're up there pitching or playing third base. What do you think you're going to do? A whistle's going to really fucking distract you? You know what I'm saying? And, but you need that. That's how you grow sometimes. And since day one, and you can be honest, I don't give a fuck who knows. Whenever we did comedy at the Ice House, my job was to fuck you up.
Oh,
that job was because you had too much of a stick up your ass to do comedy. You had all the tools, except you were scared to cross that line. When you came into the office that day, and what I always loved about you was your comedy honesty. Everybody kills. Everybody kills every night.
Right.
Let's get the 2-3 year mark. But they're sitting right next to you paying for a $5 spot.
Right.
And they bombed the last 3 times you saw. But their friend got them a spot at the Irvine Improv and they destroyed. They got a standing ovation. No, you came home and said, I had a great time, but the guy brought me up as Lee Swat. My insides crumbled up. You know what I'm saying? It was like, and I got that. That happened to me 1,000 times. I laughed because, wow, I forgot when it happened to me. Like you reminded me of all this shit I went through, and I would giggle because I'd forget how I reacted to it. Are you with me?
100%.
So, it's funny when you tell me those things. So when now you're doing mushrooms before a fucking show on Saturday night late, if you called me and said you bombed, I would never be angry at you.
Well, we sometimes do it right before I go on stage. I'm not like Theo who did it on the church and then went to the improv. I've done shows with you on edibles a million times. I haven't felt the mushrooms on stage. That would be, but we do it like either right before I go on or right after. But it's been, and Josh would never make me do it. I don't think. Like, I don't feel like if I said no, he wouldn't give me shit. But I'm trying to be like, I don't know. I feel
When
like
in
that's
Rome, Lee.
yeah,
Number
exactly.
one, I want you to understand one thing in comedy. When in Rome, number one, look at who you're with, and they've always shown love for you.
Right.
They're not out to throw you out of the game. In fact, it's going to be a different experience for you. You might even say to me, next time I go to LA, I'm going to eat mushrooms because I'm more freer. Whatever the fuck. Whatever makes you free. I don't give a fuck. Look at these people. They do pounds of fucking steroids and they walk up to you. I train every day. Knock it off. Knock it off. Why are you embarrassing? You know what I'm saying? With this shit, this is the same thing. I think I couldn't. Listen, the first 2 weeks of this podcast, or the second week, we did a podcast and we took it for granted. And we were a little stiff. I'm stiff when I do these things. I know in my mind I don't want to drink alcohol. Like it just doesn't taste good. So I got to drop an edible or two, but I got to make it hit me. But then I got to eat one when I'm here so it hits me all at one time. And I'm on shock when I'm here. And I got to make my mind work double fast. I enjoy that shit. I enjoy being loose. I'm better when I'm loose. Anybody, when they do comedy, if you go on stage with a beer in your hand and that makes you feel loose, I would never be angry at you, but don't force it. If you're not a drinker, don't force it. Bring up water or whatever. Stay hydrated. You know the fucking commercials. I don't have to tell you here. But, Paul Mooney used to go up there with a bottle of champagne. Cat Williams, but and I know they wouldn't Joey, that was later on, but I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if you bring a teddy bear up there. As long as you feel comfortable. Whatever takes that stiffness away from you, so be it. Again, I'm not adhering to Adderall. I've never even done that shit. I'm not adhering to a shot of blow. I'm not adhering to heroin. But I would be a hypocrite if I fucking sat here and said to you, listen, I want you to kill. My goal is you to fucking kill. You think I'm mad at Led Zeppelin for being heroin junkies? You think I'm mad at Sabbath for being cocaine junkies? It worked for them. It worked for them. And they have trials and tribulations from them. And they went on to do fucking great things. I'm not advocating drugs here. I'm just saying that some people need alcohol. Listen, when I moved to LA, I didn't want to fail. So I wanted to focus. So what did I do? I went on a little coke. I was broke. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not like I gave up cocaine. No, things were bad. I'm making 15 a spot here. And I started smoking cigarettes.
To get the same effect?
It was a euphoric effect. And Josh Wolf started very late. Like I said, there wasn't much money. So it was $2 a piece. We go to 7-Eleven on Curson, and we buy a pack of Camel Lights or Marlboro Lights. We always alternated. We'd go to where we had to do comedy at. When we got home, we'd throw away whatever's left in the box. That's how it started for me. It really started at the tail end of Seattle. I noticed that a lot of comics were smokers. At this time, if you were a smoker and you got in the car with me and lit a cigarette, I'd throw you out of the fucking car. If you told me that you were going to drive me to a gig and I got in your car and there was an ashtray with cigarettes, I'd have to get out. But at 33 years old, something from watching other comics, then I started studying tape, and a lot of them were smoking on stage. And it was the guys I liked. So I tried it, and I fucking enjoyed it. I enjoyed smoking before stage. I never brought a cigarette on stage.
Well, isn't nicotine like good for focus? Like, do you feel like it? Like,
what am I?
I don't know.
Dr. fucking Phil. I don't know if nicotine's good for focus. I know for me, it was working. I remember having a conversation with you about coffee.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like coffee. Well, guess what? I was raised in a fucking Cuban house where they make coffee with milk in it and they give you a piece of bread with butter on it. That is the nastiest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. So at a certain age, even though I enjoyed the smell of coffee, I did not drink coffee. Ask me when I started drinking coffee again.
When?
2000.
Wow.
I was 37 years old. I didn't touch coffee when the time I was fucking 13 till I was 37 years old. Ask me why.
Why?
Comedy. I started enjoying a cup of coffee before a show with the cigarette. I thought that was the most euphoric thing in the world. And if you fucking put a joint in that mix, I'd go to 7-Eleven. I was making headliner starter money, $800 a weekend. I would go to a 7-Eleven and get a cup of that Brazilian Bold or whatever that fucking coffee was, Nicotine Plus, whatever the fuck they had, Premium Plus. Fill it up with that fucking sugar, that whatever, that cancer sugar. I'd buy a pack of cigarette. I'd have some reefer. That to me was the most euphoric thing I could do before I went on stage. It just rose me up. It didn't get me too hyped up because sometimes you eat a mushroom and it's before you get on stage, you're like, yeah, I'm Jimi Hendrix. And then when you get on stage, the lights, the people, your heart starts beating. Now it becomes something completely fucking different. How do you feel there with the mushrooms?
Well, what I was thinking about what you were saying about the weed. Because I was like, up until like 6 months ago, maybe a little bit more, I was like very nervous, like almost debilitating before I would go on stage, like at pace. And I think the weed, I don't really smoke much anymore before, but if I would get a little high, I'd be very relaxed. And I think now, like, you don't smoke cigarettes anymore. Like, I think that was a good thing for me to get over my anxiety. Because I've had bad sets high on stage. Like one of the Sony Hall ones. I took an edible in the car on the way there, and then an edible on stage, and I just fucking
freeze.
Oh yeah.
Look, I've been there. You saw me one time where I had to ask the waiter for a chicken sandwich before I was going on stage because I ate
San Jose
milligrams, whatever. And guys, I was eating edibles, but the excitement of the show, the excitement that you have, the adrenaline. Once the adrenaline mixes with that THC, that's a weird feeling sometimes. And sometimes you got to adjust yourself. You got to like ask questions. Who's in the army? You know what I'm saying? Just to get your head back together. Who's thinking of joining the Marines? Just to get your head back together. It's like getting punched in the fucking head. You're gonna step back for a little. You're gonna breathe a little bit. You're gonna see where the fuck you are, and you're gonna fucking keep going. I mean, you can't call a timeout when you walk on stage.
Yeah, I was thinking about that this week. Is like because I had that show where I stumbled, and I've blanked too. Like, do you ever like address it with the crowd? Just say, "Oh, I lost my spot," or do you just blaze right through it?
Fucking, you get to a point where you just tell the audience what you feel, and they'll take the ride with you because they feel the honesty. But it takes a long time to get there. Like it takes a long time to go, guys. You never want to go in there with a fucking horror. Guys, I got into a car accident before I got there. I don't want to hear that shit. You shouldn't have shown up. You would have waited for the attorney. You could have made some money with fucking Sullivan and McGee, whatever one of these guys would have showed up with a fucking hospital bed. You rushed over here. You understand what it's like when a fighter fights, he loses, and a week later, I had an injury in camp a week before. Come on, man. Don't even bring it up. Maybe it's true, but don't say it. Don't say that. It's like, and this is what I want from comics, young comics. Just don't blame things. The quicker you realize to blame yourself and look at your faults and listen to the tape, the quicker the world ain't built around you. You're not doing something correctly. It'll take you a while to adjust, and you'll get it. We all fucking get it. What do you think? We all just went up there and blew bubbles out of your asshole and people were giggling and shit? Stop it. Stop it. That's part of the fucking fun. That's the fun of it. That every night is different. You know how many people sit at home every night and they got to get up in the morning and go to work and they're like, I got nothing going on in my life. We get to do something different every fucking night. We get to look at somebody and go, Ma, the show starts at 8. The show ends at 10. I'll be home about 10:30. And at 10:30, you're talking to 2 fucking stewardesses from France that got a pound of Coke and, a mini skirt on. Where you going? You better call that job and tell them you ain't showing up tomorrow. And you're at a fucking bar in Worcester. I mean, I'm not saying I hooked up. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying there's so many, it opens up these adventures for you. Next thing you know, you come to me, we're talking. I'm an open mic, or you're an open mic, but guess what? I got my own apartment. I work for an insurance company. I make some money. You want to come over and watch the game? And me, you, and a couple comics come over and we watch the game, and we each talk about each other's fucking journeys, whatever.
There's a lot of cool, but there's also, we had someone try to get into the green room this weekend. Like we had,
sure.
And then I was thinking about it. Did you ever have like, it might have been a girl, might not have been a girl, but like you bring someone to a show and they go crazy? Because it reminded me of a story that happened to me in San Diego.
Did I ever bring a girl to a show and she went
or
crazy?
Anybody? Like, yeah.
No. I don't know. No, not my wife, not the girl I moved to LA with. No. I've been very fortunate, man. I heard horror stories about a dear friend of mine who was working on a TV show, a big-time TV show, and he invited his wife to one of the functions, and his wife cornered one of the other actresses and was like, when you made out with him, did you use your tongue? And they had to escort her out of there and shit like that. So you got to know the animal you're fucking dealing with and know how they're going to react to alcohol around other people and know how they're going to react to stardom and people of a different realm that they're never around. So I'm very fortunate about that. Even the girl that I moved to LA with, dog, we still fucking talk. And she's still very supportive. She calls me. She goes, I found posters from Seattle's and pictures. I'm going to scan them and send them to you. I've always had people around me that were very supportive, especially when it came to women. My friends in the business were all women. We all supported each other one way or another. You're not getting into the business to sleep with comedian girls. You're getting into the business to make them your fucking allies. You know, you help them, they help you. You're on the road, you bump into them. They know. Listen, I'm at the fucking hotel around the corner. I'm over here 2 blocks away. If you need me, I'll call you after my show. You call me after another. The next day you're having breakfast. The next day her manager is telling her that, he wants to talk to you about management. You have no idea the possibilities. Meanwhile, Joe Schmo is trying to get into her pants. Why
Right.
do that? That's what everybody's fucking doing.
That's I never like the one with me and I like Jim Pine. He's a door guy at Madhouse, or he's a comic, but I met a girl at a bar, and she asked to come to the show with me. This was when I was 300 plus pounds, and it was as soon as we got there, she started heckling every comic, like every comic. And Jim told me to leave, and apparently after the show, she got on stage and started yelling into the mic. It was the only, and then it reminded me last night because this lady was very nice, but she just got too drunk and tried to get in the green room.
And what she want to do? She want to swap spit with you?
I don't think so. Not me.
Oh, she was there to see Josh Wolfie?
Probably Jake.
Listen, it happens. When you go to a smaller city, they're very excited. I mean, I saw somebody the other day almost crashed their car.
Why?
Because they wanted to say hello to me.
Oh, Jesus.
And then they left the ass of the car out and they ran across the street to take a picture, her and her son. It was fucking like, and people were beeping at her. And I'm standing there like, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know these people. And then they started going around her. And I made believe, I don't know what was going on. And a friend of mine pulled up behind. That's what really happened, that my friend saw what was going on. He was driving by and he pulled up behind him. You gotta love this fucking little tate from yesterday. So I'm about to go eat some lunch. I figured, let me get out of the neighborhood. Let me go up north and do something different. The girls were somewhere and I wasn't going to see them till 7. We're going to drop her off at MMA. It was movie night and water pistol night. They down, her and her girlfriends. So me and my wife had plans anyway. So I was going to meet my wife here about 4:30. I go up there. I go, let me grab some fucking lunch. Boom. I go, as I pull into I parked 3 fucking things away. I put $1 in the meter and quarters. I'm walking into fucking Rudy's, and all of a sudden this thing goes down. I hear the lady pull up, but right there, my buddy pulls up behind her, a kid I fucking grew up with, who I love dearly. And she comes over, takes a picture, and I go, bro, you gonna come in? And he goes, yeah, I'll be in. Let me park. And right there, 2 other dudes came over, and I took pictures with them, 2 little Spanish dudes. We talked for like a minute. I went into the restaurant. I had to pee like a motherfucker. I just drove for 50 fucking minutes. All right, I got to pee. And I peed. I washed my hands. I got it together and I sat down. And all of a sudden, you don't have to give me a menu to that place, even though I wish I would have got one yesterday because there's something else I would have ordered. Did I tell you about this?
I don't think so.
So let's cut to the chase. We're not going to talk about what I ate. I ate dick. I had a salad and fucking soup and some fried calamari. Half.
Yeah, you said you ate that.
Yeah, so I'm sitting there and all of a sudden my buddy comes in. Now, whenever I go to this place, I always bring up some loose joints, some laughing gas. I bring up some ABX for the main dude. He loves the ABXs. He'll fucking pop them in his mouth and chew on them with no water. I know 2 people who stick them in their mouth and just grind on them.
Oh,
and
Jesus
let
Christ.
the blast in their mouth. I never seen nothing like that in my whole 20 years together. I never popped one of those things in my mouth. I think I would fucking faint.
Oh, yeah.
Those pellets you put in your mouth, the Tom Segura ones. And I'm sitting there, and I think I had a mushroom bar. But we start talking about edibles. And he's telling me he smokes that shit that you and I smoked outside the Improv with my brothers up in San Francisco.
The dabs.
The dabs and shit. I fucking almost fainted that night on Melrose. I can't take that shit. I was an old man already, and they give me fucking dabs and stuff. So he's telling me he smokes all these dabs. And he goes, if you want, I'll give you some. I go, what am I going to do with dabs? My wife sees a pipe, it's over. I don't need that shit in my life. So the next thing you know, he's telling me, you got any edibles? I go, dog, I got some edibles, but they're not the ones you play around with. Okay?
Yeah.
He's like, come on, dude. I've done this, I've done that. And I've known this guy for 40 fucking years. I got him by 10, but I've known him since he was a fucking kid. I mean, a fucking kid, Lee. All right? Let me see if I have the messages he was sending me last night. All right. Oh, here we go. I hit him up at 1:40 a.m. and he put sleeping. When I called him, he texted me back. And then when I woke up, I answered at 9:07, but he sent it at 6:15, and he just kept writing, wow, 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 wow. And it's one of those fucking Uncle Joey classics because I felt like he was doubting me. So I showed him the container. He looked at it, right? I had one of these. I showed him the fucking ABX. He looked at it. And he's like, I don't know. And I go, what do you mean you don't know? I go, take one. He goes, well, give me two of them. I'll take one now and I'll give one to one of my friends. I go, do what the fuck you want. So right there in front of me, he fucking pops his little ABX. I love him to death. And I see him drink his fucking club soda and we're talking. And I go, I gotta go. I give him a big hug. I take a picture with one of the guys at the bar. I get in my car and I decide, I told you, I went down to North Bergen, the whole thing. Anyway, I'm not even on fucking Route 3, and this motherfucker's already texting me. Dog, what's in that thing? Right? And I call him back. You know, he texts me, but I call him back. And he's like, dog, I can't stop bouncing around. What's in that stuff? I'm confused. I go, listen, you wanted to see the devil, cocksucker? You're going to see the fucking devil. All right. And he's like, I can't believe it. I'm just going to go home. So when I got home, I was concerned. I called him back, talking about his dog. He's like, man, I don't know if I can pass out because my dog, Lola, or whatever the fuck it is. This was 6 in the afternoon, 6 o'clock in the evening.
Why are people still doubting you with edibles?
This went back and forth till about 10, and then he went radio silent. He just went kaput. I didn't hear nothing else.
He blacked out too. Oh my God.
When I talked to him this morning, he said he woke up, he pissed, and he went right to the refrigerator. He ate 2 bags of pretzels. He told me what he devoured. I forget. I'm too fucking high right now.
You said a cheesecake earlier. You said he ate an entire cheesecake.
A whole cheesecake from Costco and something fucking else, guys. Those cheesecakes from Costco's are fucking big. And he made a protein shake. That's right. He started off with a protein shake. He thought that would tame the fucking lizard. Not this fucking ABX. You go deep. The other day I made a concoction. Monday night. That's what happened. She reminded me that I ate. I didn't know that I ate Monday night. That's what really happened. It really wasn't a blackout. I probably went upstairs and 1,000 milligrams hit me, Lee, and the next thing, I'm making a fucking mortadella sandwich on this rye baklava bread with fucking arugula and spicy crushed red pepper and a slice of avocado.
Nice.
Dog. Who you think? And I toast the fucking bread. Come on, Lee. I'm just trying to stay alive here. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what baklava bread is.
I don't know either. I don't know what they call it. It's some bread from over somewhere. Chik. I don't know. It's just good. I put avocado toast on that motherfucker in the morning. Tremendous. No egg. You people put the avocado and then the egg, I'd have a fucking heart attack. Just give me the avocado, put a lot of crushed red pepper, put a little olive oil on that fucking savage. Ooh, smoking. You know what I'm saying?
So what happened to your buddy?
What buddy?
The guy who gave the edible to.
I called him today. He asked me a bunch of questions. I said, listen, don't worry about it. I go on Netflix and fucking watch the Tom Segura special. That's the same thing I gave you. Call me like 5 hours later. He's like, what's your friend's name and what is it on? And I go, Netflix. He goes, I ain't got Netflix. I'll look it up on YouTube. And that was it. I haven't heard from him. He's MIA again. I won't talk to him till during the week. And he hangs up on me all the time. Like whenever we talk, the conversation always ends. We'll be talking like me and you. He'll go later. Click. We're just talking about a restaurant, chick. What the fuck?
That seems like something you would do.
What's that?
That seems like something you'd just hang up.
You know what, bro? We grew up together. So I told you it's kind of, but man, we'll talk 3 times in the night and he'll just hang up. Are you
That's
coming?
a great move.
Come on, dog. Sometimes you got to hang up on a motherfucker. Well, anyway, I got no winners. Kansas City's about to play fucking the Jets. I don't know what they're giving, 6.5 or something. Listen, you never seen a bookie with a part-time job. I'm going to go. It was good to see you, my brother.
Good to see you, buddy.
We spoke every night. We did a check-in every night after each comedy show. I think Saturday was too late. I was up, though. I was up last night. I was so fucking blasted. I was up last night.
It was a time difference. Yeah, we talked every day about it.
2 hours. No, but we spoke at night about your comedy and how you felt. And then Josh Zoomed with me and he praised you. And then this morning I got pictures of you with you and Colleen and shit. So
oh yeah, she sent you those?
Yeah, no. And the dirty ones too, with you kissing up on it and rubbing
We didn't kiss up on it.
you fucking little motherfucker. Just because it's a Jewish New Year, you're out there kissing women in Omaha, Nebraska, trying to tell me the Reuben was invented in Nebraska.
That's what she said.
It probably was.
But well.
So you learn something. And then listen, like you go there now, and you might not go there for 2 or 3 years until you're ready to fucking go, and then you become fucking regular there. And then you do it for about 2 years, and then one day you go, fuck it. I'm doing the clubs I want to do, and that's one of the clubs. That's a club when you want to disappear. If you want to go up there on Thursday, you disappear, and you fucking, nobody knows nothing for 3 days. If you want to disappear again, you go to Wise Guys in Utah. And you just disappear there for 3 fucking days. Ain't nothing going on there. You go, you take some notebooks, you take some reefer, you walk around the fucking desert, you get bit by a snake, and you come home with a fucking little eye patch. That's it.
I've never been to Wise Guy. I've heard good things. I like
tremendous clubs. These are all little clubs that there's no muss, no fuss. You do 1, 2 radio shows on Friday, and you're out of there, dog. The community is grown around comedy, and there's a bunch of community. I can list 10 of those names. Utah, look what's going on in Boston, the explosion up there in a different way. The old guys are moving on. They're getting old. We're getting old. The young guys are taking over with a new brand of fucking comedy and whatnot. Did anybody see Sam Jay's new special?
I haven't seen. I saw that. Is that what? Because she had one on HBO and there's one on Netflix now, right? Is that it?
I don't know. I watched the one on Netflix last night. Last night, I fucking was watching The Honeymooners with my daughter. We were all excited because Mama Loves Mambo was on at 12:30. We were all jazzed up already. We made chocolate egg creams last night. She dipped the Entenmann's chocolate donut in that motherfucker. Oh, yeah. I said, drip the chocolate. Not for me. That's diabetes central. I ain't got time to do that money jumping jacks before I go to bed. So we came down here. It was like 10 to 12. Seinfeld was on, WPIX. I'm sitting there with her. And fucking midnight comes. There's another episode of Seinfeld. The look on her face. It was like the look on people's faces that they shot Kennedy in front of the TV. You know what the fuck to do? You know what I'm saying? Like he's bringing hope to the world or something. And we wanted to kill time. So I know Sam Jay. I know Sam Jay from Boston, I think. That's why I met her at one of the clubs. She was my feature act, like once or twice.
Oh, that's cool.
I spoke to her when she lived in a small place. And then when she came to LA, she came to the Comedy Store, great girl. I knew it was a matter of time. She had a great look, and she spoke the truth. Oh, my goodness. This fucking special is the most unwoke thing I've seen in fucking years. I was in a position where my daughter was there, and she was saying some shit that I was like, I can't have my daughter hear this. But I would
Oh, she
look
was
over.
watching it?
Huh?
You let Mercy watch it too?
I thought it was she's gonna talk about black issues. No, I don't know. I didn't think she was taking it like that. She did a bit about fucking midgets. I was rolling for 10 fucking minutes. She said that she watched the show where these seals go on top of these ice things, and then the ice things grow and they start getting cold, so they commit suicide. They jump off the thing, and you hear the audience go something. She goes, "Why should I give a fuck about that?" I mean, she just dropped some real knowledge. Suck my dick. When she said "suck my dick," Mercy nearly folded into the couch.
I love
But
it.
you know what? It was me at that age listening to Richard Pryor, and it shows you where people take it sometimes. It's not like I have that shit on constantly. I put that shit on once a month with somebody who's doing something special. I didn't know she was doing something that fucking special. But the 15 minutes I saw, she did a great job, and she didn't play by the fucking rules.
I love it. I haven't seen it. I'm gonna have to go. I love watching new specials.
And I'll leave you with that, my little fucking friend. What do
Love
you
you,
got
buddy.
this week, Tarzan?
This week, Thursday night, I'm at Illicit Brewing in Connecticut, and that's this week.
That's it. No open mics.
Oh yeah, I got open mics every night.
Well,
I'll be in Maine doing open mics the next couple nights. Wednesday, I'm in Worcester and Woonsocket again. Then Thursday in Connecticut.
and what about the weekend? What are you gonna do?
Saturday, I'm going to see. It's funny you just brought him up. I'm going to see Seinfeld.
There you go. You take
I've
a
never
mom.
seen him live.
You take a mom.
Yeah,
I
she's
saw
excited.
Seinfeld maybe 91.
Really, in New York?
No, I saw him in Denver.
Oh shit!
Very excited to see him. I was a fan of the show. It was funny. Like, he really enlightened me. I was a big fan of his, really, from his work on the Rodney Dangerfield young comedian special and what he did with all those top-notch comics. Seinfeld was very good in that. So I always kind of liked him. I liked the thing. I went to see him. He was different than what I expected I was going to see, but still very fucking good at it. He's really good at what he does, you know. Now,
excited.
that's what he does. I don't know, really. I see him he's drinking coffee in a fucking car with somebody on Netflix. I think I watched one episode. So enjoy it. But he's one of the masters from old school.
I'm excited. This month, I'm seeing two. I'm seeing him and I'm seeing Chappelle in a couple weeks.
Okay. Where you seeing Chappelle? At the Boston
Garden. The Garden. And then, you know what? Actually, in November, I'm seeing Burr. So I got like a good month.
Where, Burr?
Foxwoods.
Okay, because I know he's at Madison Square Garden and Dean Delray's opening for him.
At Madison Square Garden?
Yes.
That's awesome for Dean.
Yes. Dean's a bad motherfucker, just like you, cocksuckers. You're fucking moving up and Dean's moving up. Doing the Garden. Who's better than Dean Delray? And nobody even looks at the fucking kid, you know?
And he deserves it. He works hard.
Yes, he's going to fall into something. They all do, dog. They all do. They all fall in shit. Work prevail. Hard work always fucking prevails. Don't believe the hype. Stop it. That's it, cocksuckers. I'll see you guys next week. Have a great fucking week, Lee. Hit me up during the week and let me know what's crack-a-lacking.
Love you, buddy.
All right, love you too. And now, for a word from our sponsors, Jack. Have a great week. Thank you for listening to the check-in. I want to thank Lee, and I want to thank everybody who puts this together. But before we leave, I got to talk to you about something. The holidays are coming. Thanksgiving's coming. Listen, it's a beautiful thing. People come over your house, and you bust out one of these freezable freeze pipes that I got. The company, The Freeze Pipe, makes a tremendous bong. If you're sick and tired of inhaling that smoke, having coughing attacks, and taking little baby rips, then it's time to make a switch. Why, Uncle Joey? I'll tell you why. Because every freeze pipe comes equipped with A freezable glycerin chamber. What are we talking about here? It cools the smoke down by 300 degrees. So do me a favor. Check out thefreezepipe.com right now. Freezepipe.com right now. And I'm going to get you 10% off your entire order. It's American owned for over 7 years, affordably priced, and shop the smoothest pipes, bubblers, bongs. Thefreezepipe.com. Use code Diaz for 10% off your order. I also want to thank DraftKings. I also want to thank BetterHelp.com. I'll see you cocksuckers next week. Stay black. I love you. Lee, stay black. I love you.